All right, now let's move over to another publisher that I'm constantly being impressed by, Scout freaking Comics. Shout out James Hake, my brother.
We put out a lot of these in the Mystery Mail Call recently.
Dude, we did an exclusive for this, and
that's why.
Oh, Butch in the house. What's
Hi,
up, brother?
Butch.
He just woke up. So, Stake is a very different comic book and one about vampires that I didn't know I needed to read.
Correct. That's the best way to put it.
You know, this is a story about vampires. Essentially, well, first, who's it by?
This is written by David A. Byrne with art by Francesca Fantini.
And Joel Rodriguez being the letterer and doing production behind this as well. So this comic book is first off in black and white with occasional color to really accent it.
Like, the obvious choice here is to do black and white, but with red for blood, which does happen a lot. It is a vampire comic. There's a lot of like splash of red color in here, but there's also different colors kind of accented throughout this book, which gives it like, if it was just all in color, like any normal comic, or if it was all black and white, it would be more boring. But somehow the mixture of both gives it like, it draws more attention to that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to look at the splashes of color here.
What you'll also notice too is that there's random times where it's important to include color. For example, let's talk about what this is about. This is a world where vampires live amongst us and they decide to publicly come out and claim their existence is happening and broadcast it on the internet so that everybody knows that they're living amongst us. We got to deal with them. They're people too. And we got to create laws and a civilization around working with them, and you know, they're people as well. So it's a story about vampires being integrated into society in the most appropriate way. And we follow a character called Stake, who lost some key members of her family, her friends, at a certain part of her life that put her in a position to want to defend her, you know, her society by joining the Union of Vampire Hunters, because not every vampire is going to follow the rules. So the government has to actually create a elite team to deal with vampires. And Stake, her real name is Angel, which is fun because as a Buffy fan, I get so happy when I see members of this comic book, like the characters, actually make fun of Stake and call her Buffy because her real name is Angel.
Isn't Angel like the actual David Boreanaz? Like actually in this, wasn't there a shot of him in that like?
Actually, you know what? I think there is.
Did you screenshot that?
I did. So this right here is the announcement that vampires are indeed real.
That's so scary.
It's on Times Square. You're seeing broadcasted. People are seeing it, realizing, is this a hoax? Vampires are real. What's going on? They're among us. And an aspect of this comic that's so brilliant is that this narrative is told into, it's almost like a third-party perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, like a lot of it is happening through like videos and like it's someone telling the story of what happened after the fact.
It's like a documentary almost.
Which tells you that like certain characters survive to tell the story. So it makes you kind of, I like it when stories do that.
Absolutely.
It adds a layer of mystery and unknownness.
So this right here is like, hey, warning,
here we go.
This is what you're going to see. We're going to explain to you vampires in this world. And we have a shot of like, this is what mankind knows vampires to be. And you're right here in the top right, the very handsome David. This is Angel from Buffy.
Right.
But we also have Dracula, and we have the classic Dracula, and we have Nosferatu.
Here.
We have the Count from Sesame Street.
You got Vlad the Impaler over there.
Vlad the Impaler. That right there is Edward from Twilight. We have Blade right there in this comic book. How dope is that?
Sutherland, of course, Lost Boys.
That's right. So
I haven't seen that movie, but
it's like this is what we know them to be, but then this is actually vampires and who they are. And take a look at this.
It directly addresses that, which is something I have an issue with in a lot of horror movies and like zombie movies, especially when like clearly zombies are happening, but nobody knows anything. No one's ever seen a zombie movie. No one.
Yeah, it's like, this is why you don't mess with vampires, right? Haven't you seen a vampire movie?
Right, and having the characters in this world directly be aware of the kind of clearly vampires are fictional, you know, that mindset, like it puts all of this in a different perspective that makes you take it a little more serious.
So this right here is why I'm so intrigued by this, is because, you know, like really, if you're a fan of Buffy, you're going to love this book. Like legit, this right here is probably more akin to Buffy than some comic books that are made to that solicit that they are like Buffy the Vampire
Actual
Slayer.
Buffy comics?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, this is a modern day telling of a vampire hunter that's in school, that's gotten training, and that's kind of part of a almost like a House of Slaughter-esque type of group. And there's also these political dynamics of individuals who are like,
I liked that.
Hey, we hate vampires. We're banding together. We don't want them around. But then there's also on the other end, individuals who love vampires. They're human. We need to protect vampires. So there's different sects of individuals and communities who are fighting for rights, which is fun. But then just a lead character called Steak, her name's Angel, who gets made fun of and called Buffy because her name is actually Angel, who's a badass. And she has a mentor. And her mentor is this really, elite vampire.
Yeah, I remember her dropping in like that at the beginning. Like, she looks like a pirate.
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of like a pirate, and she's a badass. So take a look at Steak, and this is actually what I was talking about here. She's the world building is happening in the first few different issues, and that's what I'm having so much fun.
It's a different
diving
vampire
into.
story.
They're like explaining
It's like a class.
Yeah,
That's cool.
this is the bone structure. This is what's different between a vampire and a human. They get into like the science aspect of it, like the biology aspect of it, which is cool. And as mentioned, the political turmoil. Like we have, it's a human nature to be divisive. So that's what these idiots do. And we have like half of the people protesting saying human lives matter, not vampires. We also have vampire lives matter here. And it's a unique way to handle it. And notice there is color in this, and it's done with purpose.
I like it. I didn't think I would, but I like the splashes of color like that.
The vampires themselves, they can go in daylight, but they're really sensitive to sun. So the way that they overcome the sun is by getting tans. Like they go into like tanning booths, they get spray tans and stuff. So randomly, you'll see individuals in black and white, but then they'll have this kind of gold tint to their color scheme, and that's because they got a freaking tan. It's just ways that they've made this world work, and I like world building, especially in a vampire tale. Dude, when was the last time you read a vampire book that you were hype about?
I specifically don't like vampires, which is interesting that like this book kind of resonated with me.
The last time I enjoyed a vampire book, it was also done by Scout. It was the Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, yeah, we read it on a Scout box.
Vlad Dracula.
Yeah.
And that one was nothing like this. That was like historical. It was historical, right? So this one, I'm not getting flashbacks. I'm like, geez, man, like 30 Days a Night, when I was getting deep into that world, I'm feeling like this with this book. So Scout Comics, bravo. Killing it. Killing the game.
You did good. I'm going to have to put this on my pull list.
Also, we have a affiliate code for Scout Comics. We don't get any kickbacks from this. This is a code just for the community. If you use code Tom101, I think you get 10 or 20% off right now. They just have that code standing because if people watch the show and they like Scout, they want to give you a discount to try them out.
Don't they have it so you can, I don't know for sure, but can't you just go there and order, like can't you go buy Scout 1 or Stake 1 off their website just if you want to?
Yeah, they do web store exclusives and stuff that like if you are unable to get secure one through an LCS or something, you can do that.
That's kind of a cool idea if you can't find back issues. So a lot of shops don't carry Scout books.
It's true. Got to change that.